Welcome back to Hollywood on the Green. As we gear up for the big release of Killers of the Flower Moon later this month, I thought it would be fun to share my top 5 movies by the director Martin Scorsese, who turned 80 this year. Killers will be the 27th film of his distinguished career, and it's hard to just single out 5, but here goes. The first is for true film buffs or filmmakers looking to broaden their horizons with words of wisdom from the master. A personal journey with Martin Scorsese through American movies. This lauded documentary by Revered director Martin Scorsese explores the history of American cinema by focusing on the work of a number of highly influential filmmakers. In addition to examining pioneering productions by D.W. Griffith and F.W. Murnau, Scorsese looks at a variety of other key directors, including Charlie Chaplin, John Ford, Vincent Minnelli, and Orson Welles, while featuring interviews with Francis Ford Coppola, Catherine Bigelow, and other cinema luminaries. You can see the film on YouTube, and I've put a link in the description below. Number 4, The Age of Innocence. Wealthy lawyer Newland Archer is engaged to sweet socialite May Welland in 1870s New York. On the surface, it's a perfect match, but when May's beautiful cousin, Countess Ellen Olenska, who is estranged from her brutish husband, arrives in town, Newland begins to question the meaning of passion and love as he desperately pursues a relationship with Ellen, even though she's been made a social outcast by Archer's peers. Beautiful film, amazing score, and very different from most of Marty's films.
I want everybody to know.
What?
That we're engaged.
Until he met a woman who lived by her own rules.
I think they're all a little angry with me for setting up for myself. I hear she means to get a divorce.
She made an awful marriage, but that doesn't make her an outcast. I came to see what you were running away from.
All I really want is to feel cared for and safe.
Is there someone else?
We should remember marriage is marriage, and Ellen is still a wife.
When can I see you?
I can't be your wife, Newland. Is it your idea I should live with you as your mistress?
You gave me my first glimpse of a real life. And then you asked me to carry on with a false one. No one can endure that.
I'm enduring it. Everybody knows.
Have you considered the consequences?
What the hell does that mean, sir?
From the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel,
Shall I come to you?
Come to me.
Columbia Pictures is proud to present Daniel Day-Lewis, Michelle Pfeiffer, Winona Ryder.
They never knew what it meant to be tempted, but you did.
The Age of Innocence. The Martin Scorsese picture.
Number 3, The Departed. A tale of questionable loyalties and blurring identities set in the South Boston organized crime scene and inspired by the wildly popular 2002 Hong Kong crime-filled Internal Affairs. As the police force attempts to rein in the increasingly powerful Irish mafia, authorities are faced with the prospect of sending in an undercover agent or seeing their already frail grip on the criminal underworld slip even further. Billy Costigan is a young cop looking to make a name for himself in the world of law enforcement. Colin Sullivan is a street-smart criminal who has successfully infiltrated the police department with the sole intention of reporting their every move to ruthless syndicate head Frank Costello. When Costigan is assigned the task of working his way into Costello's tightly guarded inner circle, Sullivan is faced with the responsibility of rooting out the former before things get out of hand. With the stakes constantly rising and time quickly running out for the undercover cop and his criminal counterpart, each man must work feverishly to reveal his counterpart before his identity is exposed by the other. This film finally won a Best Picture Oscar for Martin Scorsese.
I can get the rent.
You just gotta let me do it my way.
If you don't, it won't be me who pays for it.
Number 2, Raging Bull. Shot in glorious black and white, the film is an adaptation of former middleweight boxing champion Jake LaMotta's 1970 memoir, Raging Bull, My Story. Raging Bull shares the story of a middleweight boxer as he rises through ranks to earn his first shot at the middleweight crown. He falls in love with a gorgeous girl from the Bronx, and the inability to express his feelings enters into the ring and eventually takes over his life. He's ultimately sent into a downward spiral that costs him everything. The film won 2 Oscars, Robert De Niro for his lead performance and Thelma Schoonmaker for editing. And my favorite movie by Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas. A young man grows up in the mob and works very hard to advance himself through the ranks. He enjoys his life of money and luxury, but is oblivious to the horror that he causes. A drug addiction and a few mistakes ultimately unravel his climb to the top. Based on the book Wise Guy.
Every bit of it.
What do you do?
I'm in construction.
He's not Jewish.
Mazel tov.
For most of the guys, killing's got to be accepted.
Hey, Henry, here's an arm.
Very funny, guys.
Here's a leg.
There's a wing. What do you like, the leg or the wing?
For us, to live any other way was nuts. And we were treated like movie stars with muscle. We had it all just for the asking.
It's gonna be a good summer.
It was a glorious time.
In a world that's powered by violence, on the streets where the violent have power, a new generation carries on an old tradition.
The movie was nominated for 6 Oscars, winning only 1 for Joe Pesci for Best Supporting Actor, which was great for me because I happened to be working on Joe's next project, My Cousin Vinny. And Joe had to leave production to attend the Oscars, but he brought the gold statue to the set, passing it around for cast and crew to hold. And he signed my Goodfellas poster that hangs in my office to this day. What a treat. And it turns out we share the same birthday. All right, enough about me. Back to Marty. In case you're wondering, he did an interview where he shared his top movies, the movies that had the greatest influence on him. You can find the link in the description below, and in case you don't get a chance to see it, here are his picks. The Searchers by John Ford, Citizen Kane by Orson Welles, The Red Shoes by Michael Powell, 8.5 by Federico Fellini, and The Leopard by Luchino Visconti. And that'll do it for this edition of Hollywood on the Green. Hope you get a chance to see or revisit some of these classics from Martin Scorsese as we count down to the release of his latest, Killers of the Flower Moon. Until next time, you take care.